one thing I also just wanted to kind of circle back on, and I wanted to get your point here, is also like setting the scope, because I feel like, you know, setting audit goals, like what are you doing? Because I feel like you can technically audit a website or a digital experience or an app forever. Like there's no end in sight, right?
Yeah.
So like, how do you come up with the right scope to make sure that like you're committing to something that you can actually see impact over the next, you know, couple of weeks, maybe like in the next couple of sprints, versus like getting too much scope, everyone's overwhelmed, and you know, ultimately nothing gets done. So
Yeah.
if you were like assigned to come in as like either a new team member or a consultant, how would you look at like setting the right scope for a team? Like what would you do to make sure that everyone's bought into what we're able to deliver?
So I think if you look at, I suppose, some of the things you're talking about, so if it's like time to check out, or like you focus on one specific thing, or accessibility, and so long as like the first thing you get is a small win, like if you can improve conversions, because the thing is, it's like coming up with the things that is recommended to change is one thing, but you want to make sure that you've got some kind of metric to check that the thing that you've suggested has actually improved the site, and if it hasn't, there's been a regression that you can at least maybe roll back. So you want to build confidence in, as the designer in the room. You want to make sure, and working with the engineers, okay, look, we're going to focus on just improving guest checkout, or we're going to focus on the service design for like buying the airline ticket, or at least getting the person through handing in their luggage and getting their airline ticket. Focus on that one thing, and then also say, okay, what's a good metric? Do we have current numbers, and can we compare against to see if we've improved upon that? I think, like with everything, small bite-sized makes much more sense if you just base it on like focusing in on one thing. Because the problem is, if you look at the entire pile, it's like grains of sand. If you look at the huge desert, that's like so overwhelming. But if you focus on each grain of sand individually, then you have this sensation of accomplishment that we've actually achieved something, and B, it's just much more focused. And as the thing.